Welcome to CIO After Dark, a special spin-off series from Leadership, The Secret Sauce, recorded live at ICF Converge 2025. Join Matt Dodson and guest host Helen Dan as they capture the energy and insights from coaches and leaders after hours. In this intimate series, we're uncovering the secret ingredients that make coaching cultures thrive, exploring the ripple effects of transformation, and maybe even finding a few rally cries along the way. So dim the lights, lean in close, and let's discover what happens when coaching conversations come alive after dark. This episode is brought to you by Character Matters Coaching. At Character Matters, we believe leadership isn't just about results. It's about who you are while achieving them. Whether you're facing career transitions, building stronger teams, or navigating personal growth, we help leaders unlock clarity, strengthen resilience, and lead with authenticity. Because when your character grows, your impact grows. Learn more at www.charactermatterscoaching.com.
In today's episode, we are sitting down with Michelle Chambers from Ontario. Is that right?
That's correct.
And uncover her secret sauce of leadership. We'll get into her story, the challenges, and what she's learned along the way. We think that you'll want to stick around and listen to that. So, Helen, This is my guest, Helen Dan. It's really glad to have you.
Thank you very much for having me. So, Michelle, we're here to help you step into extraordinary leadership, and we're going to start with a check-in. So, what is your energy level right now out of 10?
I would say a 9, pretty high.
Ooh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really, really high. Matt, where are you?
I don't know. I can't be beyond 10 right now. I mean, I may crash after this discussion.
I've never heard you beyond 10.
That just happens. We're at Engage.
Excellent.
That's just the way it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm probably right up there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Michelle, you're going to share a little bit about where do you come from? What's your company? Anything like that you'd like to share?
Sure. Thank you for the invitation, first of all, to join you on the podcast. I'm really honored and privileged to be here. So I've been involved in the world of OD and coaching for 30 years. Started at the age of 5, no gray hairs here whatsoever.
Nice. They hired young in Ontario.
Yes. Very young. And I'm just really passionate around ensuring people are engaged in the work that they're doing, that they feel connected, and that organizations can really leverage the strengths that people bring. And so I've been in OD and have specialized mainly in systems type of work, and hence team coaching has been a real passion of mine for the last 15 years. And as a result, changed even a subsidiary of my company from Chambers & Associates to be Teams Matter, because it's where I want to spend my time.
That's great. Wow.
So let's kick off with the first question for you. When did you realize what your secret sauce was and how it's changed the way you show up as a leader?
Yeah, I love that question because I don't think we often get to reflect, as to how we got started, what we're doing, why we're doing it. For me, the secret sauce is really around, and I noticed this shift when I started doing leadership development. And you spend a lot of time coaching individual leaders, doing 360s, all of that type of thing. And then getting to work with teams. That's when I realized there's a big shift here, that leadership development is really in between those spaces of leaders. It's all about building the relations. It's about noticing what's happening with teams, noticing what's not happening with teams and systems within which they work. And I realized that we could make more of an impact for less investment, so to speak, and we could do it collectively and build collective intelligence. Because I'm sure you guys have been part of teams, and you can put great people together, but they don't necessarily work out to be a higher value, higher creating team. And so it's messy, it's complex, the challenges leaders face now are tough, and I love it.
Can I ask you just on that question, because I certainly have heard that enough, there is some interest from outside around wanting to do team coaching, because I've even had a leader come to me and go, "Hey, look, I don't believe in individual coaching. Give me team coaching." Have you?
That's unusual.
Yeah. What do you think is driving sort of the push to team coaching?
I think there's a couple of things. I think organizations want to make coaching available to more people, first of all. And I think if you're looking at scaling up, one-on-one coaching can be a very, very expensive investment. And then I think secondly, we're working more often in teams, and we often belong to more than one team. And especially for those organizations that are a matrix environment, we don't have that capacity, and it's a good thing that leaders aren't able to use the position of power of their job title to influence people. And so we need to create, just what you guys were talking about today, we need to create that coaching culture, the leaders as coach. And leaders are struggling. How do I work with my team as a whole? And how do I help them navigate the complexities in the system we're in? And so it's unusual for someone to actually just move right to team coaching without experiencing one-on-one coaching.
I think they had bad one-on-one coaching.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they were kind of forced to try the alternative. I don't know. But I do believe that what we're seeing is that in team coaching, we're coaching the team as they're working with their business issues while they're doing it. And so you guys know this. I mean, most teams, they jump right into the task, right? We don't spend enough time talking about process and everything else. And a team coach is able to create that container to have those challenging conversations and give them an opportunity to reflect on what they're learning. And so, for example, if a team has a decision they need to make, and that's highlighted as one of their opportunities for development. Then I said, what's a real business decision you have to make? Let's spend the team coaching session on that. So it's not over and above their work, which is always a plus, because there's just so little time right now. And secondly, we can give them feedback as to how they're interacting as a team, how they're interacting with their stakeholders. Do they need additional information? Or do they have the right people in the room? Are they even using a decision-making process? And believe it or not, the most senior leadership teams have to go through all these same challenges that even some of the more junior leadership teams go through. They haven't mastered those skills. We didn't support them.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at that then, and you've described some of the things that you've been doing, think about if someone shadowed you for a week, where would they see your secret sauce most clearly kind of come up in that day-to-day? If they shadowed you, where would they
Yeah, it's great. I often do bring people on to experience and just follow the initial day of team coaching with clients, for example. And so one of the first things they see is that I'm really a process consultant. I'm not a management consultant or coach. I don't come in, tell a team what to do or any of that. I don't tell leaders what they need to do with their teams. I hold the space. And it's asking those really curious questions, being really curious, asking those thought-provoking questions, getting them to reflect differently, helping leaders observe patterns that they haven't seen before. And it's also just not only being more curious, but being compassionate and empathetic as we're supporting the leaders. I mean, honestly, I think it's one of the toughest jobs. I used to be a more formal leader in an organization 22 years ago, a very fast-paced, high-growth organization. But I look at some of the challenges the leaders face right now, the complexity of our world, the pace of change. It's tough.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've talked a little bit about, you've been doing this a while, right? So what would you think? And you can make it Canada, North America, coaches in general, whatever it is, what should coaches stop doing and what should they start doing? I'll just say this, I think they think team coaching is sexy, but I think it's hard.
Very hard. And I can share with you, well, first of all, I'm from Canada, so it would be impolite of me to say anything rude, right?
You have to tell us sorry, at least.
I'll have to be brave and vulnerable with you for this
I mean, isn't it hard? I mean, that's got to be difficult.
Team coaching is the most complex thing I've ever done. And I love that challenge. I've always been interested in group dynamics. And sorry, can you just repeat that?
Like, what would you tell coaches, right? Because I think coaches, they look at team coaching and they think, oh yeah, and whether it's, and I've had this in multiple conversations, like, oh, I'm really interested in team coaching, and I hear that's really, and I think they think it's a good dollar value, but I'm just like, that's hard. Yeah. Like, you are holding the space for this whole team, and you're going to have to be courageous and bold and stop things. And if you have any ounce of like, That's what I think of when I...
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So I didn't become a psychotherapist because I didn't think I had the thick enough skin in order to do that type of work with individuals and groups. But what I've always loved working with groups in the business context. And I honestly think that there's a lot of people out there who are very interested in team coaching now. They haven't been even a one-to-one coach for a while. They haven't been in a leadership position. They don't have business acumen. And so I think they're at a disadvantage because they don't have experiences that they can relate to. And we know the true definition of coaching, through ICF is really about asking thought-provoking questions, partnering with a team to help them develop. And a lot of people think of it as sexy because they think, oh, maybe it's a little more team building, which I hate that word, but down the ropes course, been there, but that doesn't translate into any behavior. And for me, team coaching is done typically at least 6 months with a client. They often will look to you for a solution, and it's holding that space, keeping the quiet, the stillness, encouraging them even to notice the patterns in the system. And that's another complexity, systems thinking, being able to see that, to integrate that, because they don't operate in isolation. And there are times, like even to this day, so I've been doing team coaching for 15 years, I still get butterflies. I'm still like, I don't know what's going to happen because a lot of the conversation is emergent. And you get a lot of people from leadership development, they're in training and they're used to having a more scripted type of flow or agenda. And you put a question out there and you don't know where the direction is. And even if you check in with the team before and say, what do you think you might want to work on tomorrow? Well, anything could happen in 24 hours. And then when you do the check-in the day of, they're like, oh, we want to work on this. This situation just happened. And you're like, great, okay. So, I mean, I remember first starting off, and I'm being totally vulnerable for your viewers, thinking that, oh my God, what if I don't ask the right question? How effective will I be? And I even went out and bought books on questions. And I never actually ended up using them. But it was about what you guys were speaking to today. It's about confidence, right? Yeah. And my training as an OD practitioner, we were always taught it is about holding the space, creating the container, and enabling inquiry and dialogue to happen. And we're there to manage the process. And the team owns the outcomes. And actually, one of my former mentors, Phil Sandel, always said, if you feel like you're working too hard, then you are. It's a really interesting insight.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, because we really shouldn't be speaking anywhere near as much as the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not sexy, it's hard and challenging. And I actually tell my teams right up front, I said, this is not the process for you if you're not willing to put in the time and the effort. But I can guarantee you at least a 20% improvement in results. I can guarantee that you're going to be well on your way to be higher performing, and you're going to enjoy what you're doing much more. But we've got to do the hard work to get there.
Yeah.
And they'll enjoy it together, right? And that's it's in multiples.
Yeah. For the most part, most of the teams I've coached have stayed intact, but there has been some times where there's a team membership change that's been required, performance coaching, and sometimes that benefits a team, absolutely. And then sometimes you see really good members leave. And then you've in some ways, the team needs to, go through the whole stages again, norming, performing, storming, all that stuff.
So you've talked about team coaching. Now let's think about what you would want for a coach. If you had to design that ideal coach for you today, what do you think the qualities are that they would absolutely need to have for you?
Yeah, I really appreciate this question because I've been reflecting on this over the last 2 years as I choose team coaching supervisors or coaching supervisors to work with. And one for me is that they have a lot of presence and they're able to hold the space for me. They're able to ask me those tough questions, like really challenge me. Don't accept what I'm saying as, this is the way it should be. Like really challenge me to question my beliefs, my mindsets, to question and challenge my role in the system, but also what's happening in the system. It's to help me understand that context. And someone who's also just, gracious enough to honestly be a good coach and not judge me, so that I feel really safe, in sharing and being vulnerable, because that's what it's about, right? If you're having a coach, it's being vulnerable and feeling like you can share, the mistakes you make and learn from them.
Okay, so beyond books, whatever it is, unless you have a book that you would recommend, what are some unconventional resources, podcasts, habits, daily rituals, anything that you would recommend to other people? Like, especially around, I'm super curious about the team coaching, that you would really say, hey, look, this is a book that often gets overlooked, or this is a resource, or this is a podcast that gets overlooked that people really don't know about it.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple of things. So I'll start with myself and then jump into the team coaching. For myself, it's just having 10 minutes every morning. I have a hot cup of tea, British background, and it's just that peace, that quiet, the stillness. So I feel just a little more centered, and that I'm not rushing, right into things. And that also encourages me to take some pauses throughout the day and just reflect. So I do frequently reflect. I'm actually very analytical, especially if you ask my husband at 10 o'clock at night, he's like, just let it go. And I think those reflection practices help us be better. So even in team coaching, when I first started, there were so few people trained in the field. So we didn't have co-coaches to call on. And so I remember working with clients and then immediately going to my car, aka office, and I just write out what worked well, what didn't work well, what could I do differently. And that was actually a really valuable practice, because then I could start to see the patterns and the trends. And at the same time, I think those are good practices to have, but what I'm seeing is with every team I'm working with right now, and since COVID, we've shifted to those 30-minute meetings. Everyone's running from meeting to meeting, worse than the hour meetings, because they don't even have 10 minutes for a bio break. Yeah. And I'm checking in, just like you did, the energy level. And for the most part, we're doing 3 minutes of mindful meditation. And that has made a big shift, because it's helped people be fully present in the session. They get a lot more value out of the dialogue, the discussion. They're better at decision making. And it also helps me too, right? Because then I feel more centered as well. And when you're looking at team coaching, there's a lot of great books. Leadership Team Coaching by Peter Hawkins. My colleagues, Dr. Catherine Carr and Peter, just wrote the book on, leadership team coaching, team of teams. And then, of course, there's McChrystal's book on team of teams. I love Kirster's team coaching, the Team Coaching Zone podcast. It's got so many great interviews, and I found it very inspirational. And maybe look out. It's been 5 years in the making, but I really want to get together a collection of coaches, because I'd like to put together a playbook around team tools for better collaboration. Because I think we're making that shift, and there's still a lot of organizations that have heroic leaders and need support. And so, it's about emergent coaching, but I also think there's a lot of leaders as coaches who just need some tools to help them get through, I've got a difficult decision to make, or I don't know how to manage conflict. How could I start this, process? So, yeah.
Helen, it's my honor to ask you, so what's your thoughts?
Oh, thank you very much. In fact, team coaching is something that I've been interested in pursuing, and your energy and your descriptions that you've given today have made me very excited about this. So I'm definitely going to go digging into some of your resources. I particularly liked how you have shown up and shared your vulnerability, that piece around that I recognize actually when I go into delivering a workshop or even one-to-one coaching, wondering about, am I going to be able to help these people? What's going to show up? And I think with the team element, it's not just a one-on-one. You've got however many people are in that room. And so I really appreciated how you were kind of sharing that, while you have all of this experience, you still take every moment, every interaction as I'm just going to show up and I'm just going to hold the space. And I think for me that shows true self-awareness and dedication to what you do and what you love doing. And I find that really inspiring. So,
thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate that. Yeah, well, let's connect afterwards, because we'd love to help you explore team coaching.
And I think my reflection is, I think this is probably the first time that I've kind of, I've heard someone describe the challenge of team coaching that seems more realistic rather than kind of it's great. You know, like, no, it's hard, or I still get nervous, and I just appreciate that. Candor, that's what I have in all of our conversations, or several conversations, that that kind of clarity or that kind of vulnerability about what really goes on, I think is really helpful for some of our listeners to hear. And it kind of knocks some of the polish, and to say, hey, look, this is really some of where the change happens inside a team. And probably, I won't say that guy was wrong anymore when he said he didn't believe in it. It's possible there's some consequence history about it, and the reason why is he thinks there's so much value in team coaching. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you both very much, Matt. It was a pleasure to meet you, Helen. And thank you for the questions. I always find by participating in a podcast, it gives us more of an opportunity as a coach to reflect about ourselves as well. And so thank you for being so warm and welcoming, and really just being, making this conversation very comfortable to have. And thank you to the listeners as well. So looking forward to seeing the outcomes of the podcast. Absolutely.
So Michelle, how would someone get a hold of you? What's the best way, whether they're in Canada or in the States, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
So they could go to www.teamsmatter, it's all one word, .ca. That will take them to my website, or Michelle Chambers on LinkedIn. And you'll see it more under Chambers and Associates /Team Matters. Thank you.
So to our listeners, what is your secret sauce? We'd like you to share it with us on social, subscribe to the show, and join our community for more ways to strengthen your leadership. And a special thanks again to our sponsor, Character Matters Coaching and Consulting. So, do you ever feel like you're working hard but not making the impact you want? At Character Matters Coaching and Consulting, we help leaders and organisations move from stuck to unstoppable. Through one-on-one coaching and team consulting, we don't just work on skills, we work on the leader behind the skills. Visit charactermatterscoaching.com to discover how we can help you sharpen your edge, grow your influence, and lead with purpose.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening. If you love this podcast, please share it with another coach or leader. Make sure you go to the show notes to get all the resources from today's episode.